Howdy, welcome to another early morning of the Addicted Motors household. My name is Troy, and this is going to be a family episode, let's call it. No, it's not going to feature exclusively my family, but kind of the idea of the family road trip in the small European sedan. We're going to do it like we do it in Europe, because over there, this is a fairly large to mid-size sedan, a BMW 3 Series. This is my 328D. And we're going to road trip it about 5 hours north from Virginia to Pennsylvania, check the gas mileage, and really kind of answer that question. Do you really need a large SUV? Well, I'm looking at you, Volvo XC90. They don't drive so much anymore. Is that really what you need to complete the American road trip? Now, we've had this for probably 4 months now, 165,000 miles. It's actually fairly roomy and comfortable. Again, I've got my wife, my 1.5-year-old son, a dog, and she is pregnant. We're gonna pack all our stuff in this thing and head north. And usually we'd be taking the XC90 or the full-size Range Rover or something, but I want to try to do it a little differently. I don't think we need that much space. It'd be really cool to get 50 miles per gallon as we go up there. So that is the goal for today. And we've got some road fuel, and we're gonna fight the fight of putting everybody in the car, and then I'll check back in probably 3 or 4 hours when I'm mentally depleted and drained. All right, well, so we'll see if Max will let me film here. So we're about 230 miles into the trip, averaging 45 miles per gallon. This thing is kind of a dream on the highway. And again, the beauty of this car is not many people own it, not many people talk about it. I think it's a great alternative to an Econo box, because I've got, I don't know, 280 foot-pounds of torque. I've got a turbo diesel inline 4. I've got, some decent BMW fit and finish and quality, and 45 miles per gallon. So there's not a whole lot to dislike about that combination, including a comfortable ride. So I've been also playing with the MPGs a little bit and all that, averaging around 75, 85 miles an hour on the on 95. Running eco mode, running cruise control. Eco mode's fine for the highway where it's got enough power to get out of its own way. And then when you get in traffic, you put it into sport mode. It actually holds the gears with some engine compression pretty well, and you don't have to do a whole lot of braking. That's kind of the diesel engine side of things that make it nice. Yes, Max? Do you see Dada? So this trip usually takes about 3/4 tank of gas or diesel. In this case, I've used just over a quarter of a tank, which is, again, pretty impressive. Instead of using almost 20 gallons of fuel, I've used maybe 5. And again, I'm not here to preach about MPGs, but it's kind of cool to have a fun car that does both and does both well. And it's also pretty spacious. Like I said, we've got everything we need in the trunk. I would not say that this car would be fine for a newborn. We could probably fit a pack and play and some other things in there, but we're at the age right now where we don't have to bring a whole lot of big things. And that's the game changer, right? I'm not bringing a stroller and stuff in this car. I just have clothes and shoes and the stuff we need, and where we're going. Yeah, and Frank, and he fits also. Other than that, I'm still, again, the ergonomics of this thing are pretty enjoyable as well. The cruise control is very used. It's pretty intuitive. It's just a little dial, up, down, stop, off. It actually shows you your overall total range gain as you use cruise control, plus or minus X amount of miles, which is pretty interesting as well. And you can kind of feel things go on and off throttle. When it's in eco mode, like I said, it drops into neutral a lot and coasts. You can get a lot of extra MPGs there, and it's pretty seamless. The only noticeable difference is your AC compressor might cut off and blow a little bit warmer than it would. But BMW's been doing that for decades now. But does it family? I think it definitely does. I think we're both very comfortable. I mean, and I'm not going to go full dad mode here, is to get the roof bars and Yakima or something rack up top. This isn't my one and only cool guy car, so I'm not going to expend all that money on it. You see those cars all over the place. It's the wagon, it's the 335xi with the Yakima and everything, and it's like you got something to prove that you can do it on a small car. No, this is casual. Throw our stuff in it and just go, and it works extremely well at that. It is a mom car, but for the road trips, it's a dad car. Other things we're doing on this trip, which I'll be getting to in a little bit, we're going to try to tour the Land Rover shop that I stopped at that had the Camel Trophy D1 in it. I've contacted the shop owner. I'd like to stop there during office business hours to see what's going on inside the shop. We kind of just saw the outside, and it was pretty cool to see all that stuff languishing outside. A lot of it's customer cars that have been picked up, and maybe there's some things that we might be able to buy. The next thing is I've ordered found some sliders and some bits for other guys that we're going to pick up on Facebook Marketplace. It shouldn't be too far from the house. It's really hard to get D1 sliders, and I did find a set for the price that I was looking for. And there's also a set of True Tracks there that the gentleman is selling that I'll pick up for a friend as well. So you can always, pivot into some Rover Facebook Marketplace finds while you're on a road trip. So, that's how it happens most of the time. Cindy's shaking her head at me, but sometimes things work out. So, do I think I can go there and back on one tank of diesel? Definitely. But I think I'm going to have to take some, side quest that might involve another 50 to 100 miles of driving. So it might stretch that out a little bit, but we'll see. I'm just also realizing that gas prices are going up again. At a non-Costco in Virginia, it was around $4.20, $4.30, which is pretty high. And I'm sure Pennsylvania with a higher gas tax is going to be higher. So I'd like to see what diesel is and kind of compare the two. All right, so made in the BMW with no issues, still way over half a tank. Then I went and collected my Rover treasures. So we got two True Track front and rear diffs. I got a grill for Alex and then some sliders for the D1. They were on a built D2 that some of you probably saw for sale on Facebook Marketplace for a long time in South Carolina. It was green, like a 99 D2, it was very built. Had upgraded drive shafts, the True Tracks front and rear, Rover Time front bumper, D1 rack, and a rear bumper as well. It's funny. I also had a head gasket with one side bad. Guy bought it, found out the whole motor had cooked itself, big external leaks, and parted out the whole truck. So these are good, very hard to find. I don't know what brand they are or if they're even a brand, but I like the fact that they're low profile, they're beefy, they don't stick out too much, and I think they'll be a good fit for the D1, honestly. All right, so I'm almost done with my journey through Pennsylvania, trying to scrounge much stuff as I can and pack it all in, right? It's not often have some freedom away from home, but I'm going to go back and revisit the Politas Automotive. That's the shop that we found the 93 or 94 D1 Camel Trophy Discovery just parked outside, and I want to, the shop owner had messaged me. He said, stop by back when you're in town during business hours. That's what I plan to do now. So hopefully we'll get a little shop tour, see what's inside, and maybe get the backstory on some of those cool trucks saw the last time that I didn't really have a lot of context on. So hopefully shed some light on those backstories, especially interested obviously in the Camel Trophy truck. But the little G4 Freelander was pretty neat. And there was a couple Trek Discos and some, just the cool stuff that might be there. Also, some of it might be for sale. You never know. Again, there's a lot of customers that leave cars at these shops that just kind of get abandoned there. So you never know. And that's kind of what I'm in this for. And it makes it usually makes a good story and interesting walk around. So we'll go check it out. So actually, while on the way there, enjoying these Chester County wonderful roads, I've got the car in sport mode, and we're going to play with it a little bit. Like I said, I never had a whole lot of chance to push this thing around, even though this might not be the sportiest engine. Definitely has a lot of torque, but it is weird putting your foot down and not having the full rev range of a petrol-powered BMW. You kind of loses a little bit steam around 3,500, which again, it's fine. But it's just a different kind of driving dynamic when you're kind of hustling around these back roads. I think I mentioned it before, but the suspension compliance, it's pretty soft, which doesn't mean it handles poorly or anything like that. It's not your typical hard, dampened suspension that you're used to on some of the sportier BMW models. I just drove a 2013, I think it's a 135, a little cross coupe XUV thing. You know, the 130, what is that, a twin turbo straight six or whatever, and that one was all-wheel drive, and let's give it the beans here. And then a really stiff steering, but I think that might have been the X drive. So let's take it down this road and give it a bit of a hustle. And like I said, it does feel like there is a good amount of body roll and whatnot, but the tires are planted. It's compliant in kind of an older car way. It feels like an older BMW, honestly, just kind of the way it hustles, because, you know, my E36, the suspension's a little soft and cushy, but when you load it up, it definitely feels like it has grip, but it's not on rails, I guess. And luckily these tires are good and the brakes are fine and everything like that. So you just kind of have to trust that the car is engineered to perform, and it does. It just scoots itself right through, and there's no drama, there's no issues. But to the passengers, it might feel, you know, maybe like you're pushing it a little harder than you should. All right, I've arrived, and yep, I'm very much at the right place. Let's go in and see if we can check it out. I didn't even make it in the door yet. All right, so I just spoke with, I'm assuming it's the shop foreman. He said I'm free to tool around and show some of the trucks that they have here and whatnot. Again, most are customers' cars with a lot of interesting stuff that is kind of shop owned and may or may not be for sale and whatnot. So let's do a quick tour. Things have changed since I was here last. They moved some things around, but I'll just kind of show it as we see it, and hopefully you enjoy it. So it looks like this is an 89 Classic, just like mine. It's got good tires on it, got the same nice peeling paint, but it is a slick top, which is interesting. It doesn't have any other notifications on it, but it looks pretty sweet. So again, this is a pretty special truck, at least for me. Apparently I just talking to the service writer. It was owned by a customer. He just bought it, got it running, needed some things, a little bit of rust repair and whatnot, but apparently it's pretty good. And this is probably what my favorite truck that's here right now at the moment, man. A slick top. It looks like an 89, or actually it might be a little older. Yep, it's actually an 87, judging by the door cards and everything, but pretty cool truck. Here, this one, yeah, I can never remember the color, green, but it's an 03. I just checked. It's not a CDL. It has less than 70,000 miles on it. A nice little lift kit on it. Just needs some engine work. LR3s, we don't care about those. A little 5-liter supercharged L322. They got a big old 90 that has been, I guess it's been sold twice since it's been here. And some more customer stuff. Now, if you remember from the last video, this is where the Camel Trophy truck was sitting that has moved to another location. I will go by there if I can find it and speak to the owner, see if we can get some more history on that one. But that is so, and actually they're moving from this location, which is why there's less trucks here than there was before. So hopefully we'll be able to find another location. All right. This 110 was here before. Looks like it could be a TD5, but I'm assuming that it's not. It's probably just been facelifted. One of those kind of customer cars that haven't heard back from, so it's just hanging out here. This was the P38 that we saw when I walked in. It looks like it's got a 2.5 diesel in it, so it's definitely been imported sometime. Beautiful green on this truck. But yeah, it was funny. I smelled it idling, and yeah, 2.5 diesel P38 on some ATs, a little lift on. That's a nice looking truck. This 95 soft ash was another customer abandoned truck. So this is one that it's a no call, no show. It's been sitting here for a while. It was supposed to be help modified for the beach, and now it's just here. You know, that's the problem that with every shop owner faces, is when customer cars get brought here and they don't want to pay the bill, or they forget about it and they die. This stuff just hangs out. Same with this XD. Awesome truck, but they don't know or can't contact the owner, and it's just hanging out here. But you know, typical Pennsylvania-ish rust, but the frame and everything seems solid, and it's one of those trucks I think that most people know about because they've been driving by it for years. And you know, it's just been hanging out. It's got a 17 registration sticker on it, so it's been here for a second. So this one, the GDE, one of the more asked about trucks from the last video. California plate, it says Range Rover on it, finished in white. You know, it's got the non-winch GDE bumper. It runs and drives apparently, but with the lower valence, which is pretty funny. Paint and everything, sure, it's fine. It definitely does seem like a California truck, but just full of you know, your normal Land Rover sitting patina with the tinted windows and everything. Just a bunch of V8s, Bosch and non-Bosch stacked up here, just how you want to see it. It's pretty, you know, this is what it is. Got one of these X-Mod imports over here. Not sure what the plan is with this one, but it's pretty cool to see. I feel like a lot of people overpay for these and then get them back to the States and realize that they need absolutely everything and kind of give up on it after being sold the dream, I guess. More series truck, project truck. Don't have the backstory on the this NAS here. Apparently there is more to it, but I just need to find the gentleman that has the backstory so he can run through it, because it's a good looking truck. So let's take a closer look at the G4 Freelander, which I don't think I really did last time. Yeah, that's not the most, it's not completely out. That was last inspected in 2001, so it's not terrible, but factory rack, factory taillight guards, tire covers, and of course, we just got transfer cases and our R380s hanging about here, but this is all pretty good. It's got all the safety devices stuff on it, and apparently it's just been sitting here forever. Well, at least the last bunch of years. Again, I don't know if this one's for sale. I think this is one that's kind of just been abandoned here. No show, can't get in contact with the customer, but if you are a Freelander guy, this is about as cool as it gets, just sitting here, even with the reverse light guards and everything. It's funny, there's a box of masks and stuff in there, which really dates probably when it was dropped off here. But also a lot of interesting touches here. You have a Warren attachment. I don't know if that's for a winch or just you know, an external battery charger or something, but it's there. You know, there was one at the last Rover event. The guy, you know, these all need engines. He'd already swapped the engine, so he's probably get another, you know, 10,000 miles out of that brand new engine. Well, I found it a lot. I mean, yeah, I'm interested. Who's interested, right? Who's in, right? Land Rovers in a field. This is what it's all about. You know, it's cool to see the LR or the L405 in its future state. Even though it's in the present, they're gonna end up like this, so it's okay. We're just prepping ourselves for this visual in the near future. And here, man, this looks like the 87 that I owned and sold to a kid a couple years ago. I doubt it's the same, but who knows? And there's more. Just looking for the owner. It's supposed to be here, but I don't see him. But there are Rovers stashed all over the place. Look at the patina on this thing. This is awesome. All the overdrive stickers and everything. Kind of a stark comparison though, this side of the property versus this side of the property. Bit of a dichotomy here. So this is going to be, I guess, the site of their new shop, under construction right now. It used to be an old car dealer, but it is a much more, I guess, central location as far as vantage point and whatnot from the street. Looks like they've got this whole piece of property, so there's a lot that can be done here. So it's kind of exciting to see, you know, this in its early stages. Again, it's not my shop, not anything like that, but it's also good to see people, you know, be able to do what they want to do and own the land that they work on. They said they're renting the other property, so this would be a kind of a step up as far as expansion of the business. But in the meantime, we've got a bunch of D2s, and I don't know what that is. That looks like some type of 109 with the front of looks like one of those cab over Rovers. I'm not an expert. But that is a wild looking combination. Let me know in the comments what the hell this thing is. It doesn't look as long as, it doesn't look like I don't know. I got nothing on it, but you know, a lot of D1s in their natural habitat. This one has a lot of non-American markings on it and whatnot. Interesting truck, looks like an earlier truck, but it's complete. This one's registered. The Land Rover Rally in '97. Whoa, that's pretty neat. I wish we knew where that was. I don't think that was the rally that we attended for the 75th, but you know, rallies are nothing new to the Land Rover world. This kind of high cap pickup's pretty neat. It's probably 200, 300 TDI. I've driven a TD5 version that was kind of hopped up, and it was pretty fun experience. Not my cup of tea, doesn't really do it for me as far as something I'd like to own, but people like them. More right-hand drive 110. This P38 looks like it's probably some type of special edition, either Overfinch or something else. They all just kind of have that look, though. It's a P38 thing. Yeah, 30th anniversary, should have recognized by the color. But pretty. I'll own a P38 one day. It looks like somebody was looking for treasures in here, and treasures they will not find. But ooh, I like the green gear shifter though. And the green piping. Okay, I'm back in. I think this was for sale. I feel like I've seen this truck before. So I think this is probably the last one on the property worth checking out, I guess. It looks like it's an 87 or an 86 classic, original-ish condition. You know, what really caught my attention was the condition of the wood in the back. You know, it still had the gloss finish on, which is pretty neat. So it's a 3.5 fuel-injected truck, early truck. It's always funny to see, you know, these 87s, because they didn't import, I mean, they imported a lot of them, but I've just bumped into so many recently on the East Coast. Maybe they imported them more here and more survived, but I feel like they're not as popular in other regions of the state. But this one seemed to hold up relatively well. Same paint pitting and everything that mine had. So it's probably a local truck. Yeah, they pulled out of everything.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Red.
You know me? You know, look at more cars.
Is your other friend coming too, Troy?
He said he might come. So we're at a Cars and Coffee around Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You buy it.
This is an 08 SRT10 Viper. It's even got the Montana tags. He's a pro. We've got the car in the back. It's a 6-speed. We've got the window sticker, $93,000. And of course, because it is what it is, we have the original tires on it from 2008. Where's the date? Yep. This is why you die when you drive a Viper. But it is pretty cool. This is an old school Cars and Coffee. They don't do a lot of these anymore like this because I feel like there's more spectators than there is participants. So, you know, there's less conversation, there's less back and forth, and there's more hanging out. So this is pretty good to see normal Cars and Coffee. So back on the BMW topic. So I've, you know, an eighth of tank left. Still showing 40 miles per gallon. Again, I probably put 200 or 150 miles or so just driving around my hometown area at 40 miles per gallon. So that's still pretty good. I'm assuming that number probably would have been doubled if I was on the highway still. But again, I'm half highway, half driving around. And I'm probably going to top it off to complete the journey home. Didn't quite make it all on a full tank, but I didn't expect to drive around so much up here. So, you know, it's still pretty decent real world test. Yeah, so 432 miles for this particular trip. I think Cindy had been driving around for a couple of days after the first fill up. So again, pretty good for a not as boring economy car. That's not an economy car. And I'm gonna cut that video right there. We weren't able to get in touch with the Polita's owner to kind of go over and maybe check out that cool Camel Trophy D1 that we saw last time. That's okay. I'll be back. And like I said, it's an active working shop, and people are busy and don't always have the time to run around with fanboy YouTubers, I guess. But it's all good. Thank you for watching the BMW. Again, I'm trying to give some insight into that car because I just still think it's such a unique option that is just never discussed in the automotive community. So just a little bit of light shed on that, as well as real world performance and updates. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe, check out the rest of them, and we'll catch you on the next shot. Bye.